Hey, people of light, life in the dark. I have some news here from the Washington Post that I found quite interesting. South Dakota's Attorney General said he thought he hit a deer. The next day, he found a dead man's body in a ditch. South Dakota Attorney General Jason Ravensburg was driving home from a GOP fundraiser in Redfield, South Dakota, around 10:30 p.m. it was Saturday, when his Ford Taurus hit a large figure in the dark. He phoned the Hyde County Sheriff's Office to report he thought he hit a deer. But the next morning, he went back to check, he said, and found the man's body lying in the ditch along Highway 14 near the scene of the accident. Officials identified the victim as 55-year-old Joseph Bover of Highmore, South Dakota. At a news conference Monday, South Dakota Governor Kristi L. Noem R. said that South Dakota Highway Patrol is overseeing the investigation with help from the North Dakota Bureau of Criminal Investigation. The incident has left Bover's family demanding answers. Bover's cousins, Nick and Victor Nimek, told the Rapid City Journal Bover had left his Ford pickup truck on the side of the highway Saturday morning after driving into a roadside ditch and hitting a bale of hay. Bover was apparently returning to his truck when Ravensburg struck him later that night. A deer doesn't look like a human, Victor Nimek told the Journal. After the collision, Ravensburg, 44, said in a statement released late Monday night that he stopped his car, phoned the sheriff, and got out to survey the damage. Pieces of his car lay on the road. His license plate had been damaged. Ravensburg said he used his cell phone flashlight to search the ditch for the animal he believed he had hit. All I could see were pieces of vehicle laying on and around the roadway, he said in a statement. Hyde County Sheriff Mike Volek, these names I tell you, responded to the accident scene. According to Ravensburg's account, he also inspected the damage to the vehicle and looked for an injured animal, but did not find one. Ravensburg, at no time did either of us suspect that I had been involved in an accident with a person. Ravensburg said in the statement the Ford Taurus had been damaged too severely to drive back to Pierre, where Ravensburg lives. Volek offered to lend his personal vehicle to Ravensburg so that he could get home, the Attorney General said. Ravensburg agreed. According to his account, and the sheriff drove him to his home. Then Ravensburg drove the sheriff's personal car back to his house in Pierre. The next morning, Ravensburg said he and his chief of staff took the sheriff's vehicle to a gas station and then stopped at the scene of the accident, where debris was still in the roadway. As I walked along the shoulder of the roadway, I discovered the body of Mr. Bover in the grass just off the roadway. Ravensburg said it was apparent that Mr. Bover was deceased. Hmm. The most pop. Well, I'm not going to read that. According to Revsberg's statement, he immediately drove to Volek's home and reported the body. Revsberg, who said he wasn't drinking the night of the accident, said he will not answer further questions until the investigation is closed. I've been cooperating fully with the investigation. Oh, excuse me. And have agreed to a search of both of my cell phones, provided a blood draw, and have given the investigators the names of anyone at the dinner who can confirm that I was not drinking alcohol at any time during the event, he said. Revsberg is serving his first term as Attorney General after being elected in 2018. According to the Argus leader, Revsberg has a history of speeding and other minor traffic violations. Nick and Victor Nemec were called to identify Boever's body Sunday evening. The circumstances of the accident and the amount of time it took for the body to be discovered and identified has raised concerns for the victim's family members. I believe the state is going to try to cover up as much as they can, Victor Nemec told the Rapid City Journal. This state is known for covering up wrongdoings of elected officials all the time. Boever had phoned his cousin Victor on Saturday morning after he crashed and his truck into the Hell Bale. He picked up Boever and drove him home, promising to give him a lift to retrieve the truck on Sunday morning. It's not clear why Boever apparently decided to return to the truck on foot on Saturday night instead. The next morning, I called him a couple times, didn't get any answer on his cell phone, so I decided to drive into town and stop at his house, Victor Nemec told Kellogg. On the way, he passed a truck still abandoned in the ditch. This time, however, it was surrounded by police, cruisers, crime tape, tarps covering unseen objects laying on the ground nearby. Boever wasn't home when Nemec arrived. Then he called the sheriff's office to ask if his cousin had been involved in a car accident. Deputies asked Nemec to wait for an officer to show up to speak to him. The Journal reported Nemec waited for hours until deputy finally phoned at 7:30 p.m. Sunday evening, telling him to go to a local funeral home to identify his cousin. His wife, Jennifer Boever, said she was confused by the amount of time between the accident and her husband being identified. Why did my husband lie in a ditch for 22 hours? She told Kilo. We had no answers yet, and right now I'm just raw and numb. I just lost the man of my life. Wow. Yeah, certainly these politicians. Yeah, it's you best believe. He thought he hit a deer. All he did was call on the phone instead of getting out of the car and checking to see what he hit. So he was wrong because he should have got out of the car and checked to see what he hit. Because if he hit this man and this man was probably still alive but in critical condition, he really needed to get medical help. But these people don't have a moral barometer within themselves. They don't have anything, and they don't have anything. They don't have anything to tell them these things like this. That it's just a disgrace. It's a disgrace. That man could have been helped if he'd act earlier instead of going home and waiting for the next morning. Especially, I know he had to seen this truck out there. There's something fishy about this story. Please tell me what you think about this story, family. Leave your comments down below. With that said, true love, real peace, and the higher self within the soul. Till next time, peace.